What's up, party people? Hope you are doing well. Welcome back to another episode of Mediocre Park. This is episode 9. So we're just going to come right over here and go ahead and get started next to the go-kart track and the woody area where we have one of our water rides planned. And if you remember anything from all the way back in, I believe it was episode 1 when we actually covered this, this is going to be the log flume ride. So I was kind of certain the direction I wanted to go, as far as, you know, like the scale of this ride and kind of the different features of it, but I wasn't really sure exactly how I wanted to accomplish it. So a lot of this was a little bit experimental, and I did know that I wanted it to be pretty large. I wanted it to have a good bit of substance to it. And you'll definitely see that as it develops that it's a large one. It's probably larger than most flumes that you would see in real life, but I still think it has some bit of realism to it. Definitely it will once we start putting scenery into it and things, but for now I'm just gonna let this play out while it builds, and I'll come back to you a little later when more of it's done. So right here you can kind of see a little bit of the interaction that was teased in those earlier episodes between the go-kart track and this flume ride. I kind of wanted it to loop around a little bit inside of that, you know, that classic Jetta loop before coming back kind of towards the station. And yeah, like I said earlier, it's a big flume ride, but I think it might kind of just look big right now because all you're seeing are like the raw like pipes and the supports, and everything is just kind of like very base level, so to speak, where there's just not a lot of fluff around it to make it look less like a massive ride and more like a big experience type of thing. So again, once the scenery starts getting put down and everything, it will look a lot better and a lot less like a massive eyesore. It's going to take some work to make it not look like an eyesore, just based on what it looks like right now. But I think after that work is put in, it will look a lot better. And so yeah, right now we're just kind of getting things sorted out as far as how many boats I want to run on it, what the intervals should be. I don't want it to be like you're going down the track of this water ride and you're just like bumper to bumper with other boats or logs rather. So we want it spaced out a good bit to where, you know, you can see other logs on the ride, but, you know, unless they're really like right in front of you on a straight or whatever, you're not gonna see them for most of the ride. And so yeah, I'm just kind of letting this cycle a few times, you know, just looking at the whole layout, seeing if I like how everything has played out. And I think for the vibe that I want to go with this log flume, I am pretty happy with it. I might tweak some things here and there. You know, just the more you look at things, the more you notice what you want to be different or what you really like that's there already. So over time, some things might get tweaked, but overall, I really like it. You know, every good log flume has, you know, the multiple lifts and like the little fake drops and stuff like that, and little downhill sections where you pick up speed, but it's not necessarily a drop. So I tried to encapsulate a lot of that. And then right here, of course, you know, it's still just looking at the layout, watching it cycle, looking at how the pacing is and everything. And then of course, we're gonna do a lot of cool things with that splashdown at the end. I'm really excited to do things with the actual water effects and, you know, all the other scenery and effects that you can put into rides that I haven't really messed with in this park yet. So yeah, this will definitely be a cool one when it's done. It's like I said, it's gonna be a lot of work. It's probably gonna be 1 or 2 episodes of just pure scenery work to get this and some of the other future rides really looking right and how I want them to look. But it'll be worth it. It'll be really worth it, I think, in the end. So yeah, I'm gonna let this play out, and then I'll be back when we start working on something else. Yeah, so after I started looking at the interaction between the go-kart track to make sure, it wasn't too much, but it wasn't too little, just kind of in that nice little sweet spot of balance and, thinking about different ways that I could run pathing. I also kind of had a little spur of the moment decision to add a boat ride, not like a, like a lazy river type boat ride, or like a big, like those water wheel boats, like the River Queen type boats. It's not one of those. It's like a splash down, like Tanganyika tidal wave type boat ride. I don't know if you've ever been to Busch Gardens, especially when that was open, Busch Gardens Tampa. That ride closed down, I want to say like 2016, something like that, and then they replaced it with Tigris in I think 2020 or something like that, 2019. But yeah, it was basically just a big boat ride. It would take you through like these little like native African villages, and then you would go up this big hill and then splash down with this massive wave that would like cover a bridge. It's one of those. It's basically just a really roundabout way to tell you it's one of those. So yeah, not really the same exact concept where you're going to be on the ground the whole time looking at all this scenery. It's going to be elevated for most of it, with one main drop, and then it just kind of snakes back to the station. It's nothing crazy. I think these rides usually are a bit gimmicky, where you go up, you turn around, you come down, a bit like an early dive coaster almost. I think it's pretty rare to find one like Tanganyika that had like all of the scenery and stuff. So I was just kind of going for one of the early concepts of that, and I think the main reason I decided to add this was just so I could like challenge myself and see if there was a way that I could either work it into the flume and try to add some scenery that incorporates both rides at one point. I think that would be a really unique thing to do. And then another reason I decided to add it is just because I gave myself so much room to work a log flume into things, and then I went kind of a different direction than I had originally planned with it. So there was all of that room left over, and so I just decided, you know what? I'll add an extra water ride. What if it's a hot day? People will thank me. So that's kind of, I think, one of the main reasons that I decided to add this is I had the room, so why not? And then this right here, it looks harsh when it's sped up, this little turn here, but it's not that bad, I promise. You kind of splash down and then you slow down before the turn, and then you're chilling. But yeah, I'll let you go for a bit more, and I'll be back to talk with you later. Alrighty, so I've already built 2 rides, and you've probably looked at the timeline of the video and seen that we're just barely halfway done. Yeah, that's because we have a little bit of scenery and terrain work to go through. So as you kind of already saw, messing with the water a little bit. I tried making some sort of like a water feature that could follow the track around of the boat ride, and the water in this game is very frustrating. It's kind of one-dimensional in like as far as the mechanics go of how you use it and place it and all that. So it's kind of tricky to work out. I'm still gonna try to fix things here and there, and as the video progresses, you'll see that I do make it look a little less just kind of dumb, like it's just a puddle because it rains too hard. But yeah, as you can see, I'm making another lake over here where the invert is actually supposed to be, and I have some plans for that later on that I'm not gonna reveal quite yet. But what I can reveal, obviously, because it's on your screen, is that the invert will go over water. I think that's something that a lot of parks don't really utilize in real life. You'll see a lot of launch coasters or even wing coasters go over the water. You know, sit downs will go over the water, but you don't see a lot of inverts going over water. You see them here and there, but it's not really some. Ooh, there's some thunder outside. That's fun. It's not something you see very often. So I think that'll be something kind of cool, especially in the POVs, once I add some things to the water and make it look nice. I honestly think it's going to be kind of one of the highlights of the park, is getting on that invert and just being able to fly over the water, and I think it's going to look pretty cool as well. So yeah, that's kind of what this big pond lake thing is that I've got here. And so yeah, I'm just kind of touching up the terrain, trying to make it look nice. Another challenge I ran into with the water, which I'm not sure how I'd never run into this before. I think it's just how luck happened to work out. But in one of the earlier episodes, when I'm working on Cernunos, the wooden coaster, I make that big pond kind of where the track wraps around. It's going kind of slowly. It's not a really intense part, so I put water there to make it a little more interesting. You'll see me actually switch out the type of water numerous times. And the reason I was able to do that, which I didn't really discover until I was making this episode, is in order to actually change the water, you have to undo the water that you've done and then put it back in. So if you've put water in and then, like I did in this episode, edited some terrain and then decided you want to change the type of water, you would have to Control-Z all of the terrain work you did until you undo the water and you can change it. The only workaround that I've found, please let me know if there's another one, but the only workaround that I have found so far is editing the terrain to where the water has to despawn, and then basically putting different water in and re-editing the terrain back to how it was. Both ways are really inconvenient. It's a bit of a pain. So going forward in the future, if I ever do water again, which I likely will, I'm going to definitely keep that in mind because it is a pain. But yeah, enough talk about water. Let's talk about this, because this is a very hated part of the park. I've gotten a lot of feedback on this outside of comments, just like friends talking to me about it, or people DMing me, whatever. They hate this. They absolutely despise this drop tower section and the pathing all around it. So I thought, as kind of a little bit of a compromise to those people, I could add some rock work, not complete the area with the rock work, but just add it to kind of show, hey, this is what my vision is. Here's the start of it. Hopefully this sways your opinion a little bit. I think it will look really good when it's done. I think the main thing making this look really bad is, by the way, I'm sorry if you're clicking in the background, it's thundering and my dog is freaking out right now. So he's just trying to climb on everything, including my desk. So, yeah, I think one of the main things making this part look bad is the asphalt color that's on there. as well as the pathing just kind of sticking out and being a bit of an eyesore. So I think once that is fixed up a little bit and I put more of these rocks on the side of this and recolor things, I think it will look okay. But right now, I think the main problem with it is just that this looks like a hill made of Play-Doh that I've stuck 2 carnival rides in the side of and then just vomited path onto, which in a way, to be fair, is what I've done. But I think I can make it look better. And one of the biggest parts of this game when you're making a park like this is making things that are bad look good, to where people won't really notice unless they've seen how it was created. And I think that's something that I can be good at, especially with rock work and a lot of the terrain building and stuff. So we'll see. Like I said, here's kind of the beginnings of it. I'll let this play out so you can formulate your own opinions and have your decision about what you really want done with this part. But I think that this, gives it a bit of hope, and I hope that you kind of start to see that too. Alright, so now that I've given you some time to get your hopes up about what I'm doing right now, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm not building this coaster right now. My main kind of thing for this episode was to get the water things done that I wanted to get done, or at least placed, and then kind of just go around the park and touch some things up because, next episode is episode 10, and it's kind of an overview episode. We're not going to do any building for episode 10. So I just wanted to kind of have some ideas down so that I could, kind of push them to you in episode 10 and in this episode, and kind of formulate my own ideas as to what I want to do and what you guys want. So right there, I think I've kind of decided that I want a strata coaster where I was placing that, and then we'll just kind of go from there. I think that would be really nice to kind of butt up against the hill of the King's Court or the Jester's Court or whatever we're gonna call that area of the carnival fair ride type of things. So yeah, I think that'll be nice. But like I said, I was just kind of placing things down, doing a little bit of work on things here and there, not really doing much extreme work on anything. That's going to be for later episodes to just dive into and really sink our teeth into. But I just wanted some visible progress this episode, kind of on a large scale, so that I can just kind of regain my bearings on this park and just kind of remember what I want to do, and if I didn't know what I wanted to do, just gain some new ideas. So yeah, that's kind of the deal with why things are just kind of everywhere. Now I'm all the way back over at the water section again doing pathing. But yeah, so I'm just gonna let this pathing play out, and then I'll be back with you in a little bit to close out the episode. Enjoy. Okie dokie. So now I've done some of the terrain work here under these paths, and put a little like tunnel cave thing with a hill for this boat ride. And I think from a top-down view, if you're looking at the water, you might be able to figure out what I'm gonna try to make happen. I think that's all I'm gonna say. If you do know, oh, there's some more thunder. If you do know what I'm gonna try there, I think you'll be as excited as I am right now, because I think it's gonna be great and it's gonna look awesome. If you don't know, just stay tuned for one of the later episodes and you will find out. But as I've seen it from the top down, I'm excited for what I'm gonna do. So hope you guys are too, whether you know what that is or not. And there's another top-down view, so you can maybe get your brain juices flowing. My power has just flickered. That's awesome. I'm gonna save this before the power goes out, whenever that is going to be. But yeah, that's gonna pretty much do it for episode 9. Like I said, next episode is just gonna be kind of an overview episode. Like I said, we're gonna try to do that every 5 episodes, just to, if you don't want to watch all the building crap and all the boring stuff, you know, I respect that, and I want to give you something else to watch, so you can come back every 5 episodes to see what we've done with the park. And it's also good for people that have watched all the building stuff, just to kind of see the progress accumulate. But yeah, that's going to do it here for me. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you hopefully next week for episode 10.